To our participants and to our guests, good afternoon or good evening. Welcome to I think this is the third Boost Unplugged fireside chat. Today we are moving to the next topic. We will talk about and we will explore what kind of the strategies exist and how our guests employed different kind of the strategies to boost the impact. So we will basically we will talk about the designing of different kind of the initiatives that are driving the change. So I have today our two really great participants from our acceleration programs. Briseida Gjoza, who is CEO and co-founder of ConsciESG, and Mathias Apovo, who is founder and CEO of Blue Diamond Leading Solutions. So today we will try to answer the questions how in this rapidly evolving world we can answer the quest for impactful change. We will discuss different angles of impact design, impact measurement, and how impact should be strategic point and focus in the business modeling of the organizational strategy. We will also discuss how to build the sustainable impact models that are meeting ESG targets, which is something that one of the company that will be introduced is focusing. But we will also discuss how we can align different kind of the initiatives with broader impact goals. Namely, we will also mention SDG targets and how basically businesses can contribute to the SDGs. So I would like now to deep dive and explore a little bit how we can turn ideas or different kind of the aspirations we have into actions, and how we can work, scale up these initiatives to maximize the impact, not only for the organizations, not only for the beneficiaries or the clients or the audience of the organizations, but also for all other stakeholders. As I said, we have Briseida and Mathias today here with us. So I will give the floor to both of you at the beginning. Maybe each of you can briefly introduce yourself and start a little bit telling us what is the purpose, what is the mission of your organization, just to have a clear understanding who you are and why are you here in this world. So first of all, I will give the floor to Briseida. Please introduce yourself and your organization.
Thank you, Theodore. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Good morning, actually, from the States, because currently I'm in the US. So I am Briseida. I'm the CEO and co-founder of ConsciESG. ConsciESG is an ESG fintech startup whose mission is to help asset managers use impact tools for value creation. We have started ConsciESG in early 2022, and UNDP Boost actually was the first program to endorse us and our model. And it's like as alumni, we have been affected at our core from the DNA, like at our DNA from UNDP Boost. So very happy to be here and to share my thoughts and insights.
Thank you for this quick introduction. But maybe you can just propose and tell us one sentence that can describe what are you basically doing, so everybody can understand who is watching the video.
Okay, so we are helping asset managers to use impact tools for financial value creation. So we have built a science-based model which measures progress. And actually, it is the first scientific solution which can be used for both impact and financial value creation. We have managed to test our solution with 3,000 publicly traded companies. We have covered the whole New York Stock Exchange. And not only did we prove that we could find financial correlation with impact, like with impact themes, but our solution managed to overperform S&P 500 benchmark by 19% in terms of value creation. So this is where our innovation stands, and this is how it became our mission, so that we could push impact while creating financial creating financial value, having value creation.
Great. So impact business basically that wants to enhance and maximize the impact of all other stakeholders that you're working with. That's a great model. Thank you. Matthias, who are you? Why your organization is here with us?
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are watching from. My name is Mathias Apovo, and I am the co-founder and current CEO of Leading Solutions. That's an organization based in Burkina Faso, West Africa. Our target is actually to extend our activities to 8 French-speaking West African countries by 2030. And all the programs we design are actually based on that specific target. So what we do as an organization, we actually, let's say, build the bridge for French-speaking West African youth to actually access opportunities not only locally, but also internationally. And we do this by giving them the skills that are required for them to actually access international markets. So basically, Blue Diamond Leading Solutions is actually working to help not only kids, but also teenagers and young people to access local and international markets. That's it.
Great, great. So what basically motivated you to start the organization? What kind of the challenges or pains you saw in the communities where you're working? And when you started to design the solutions for the challenges and problems and needs and pains that exist in the communities, how you designed the strategies for development of your organization and the business strategy, and how basically are you securing now that those strategies are answering the needs or problems that you are trying to solve? So tell us a little bit about your beginnings, how you started and why you started, what you saw on the ground.
Yeah. Actually, 3 basic things. Let's say the backbone of what we do at BDLS. The very first thing that led us to start in BDLS was the need, right? Because in French-speaking West Africa, unfortunately, the educational systems are not very aligned to the needs of the market, the job markets, right? And the problem is many young people finish their university studies, but unfortunately, they do not get the opportunities that are, let's say, aligned with what they learned at university, just because the content they've been exposed to are not practical enough. So we decided that we should do something about that. We should make sure we make the learning programs and the curriculum in general very practical, to give our young people access to the skills that are actually used by companies and organizations that definitely recruit people. And that's the first one. The second thing is, let's say, a bit personal, because I'm a father of 3 daughters, right? And at some point, I wanted my daughters to be exposed to something different, because you may not know it, but the countries we are targeting 8 countries in French-speaking West Africa, but 6 of them are among the least developed on the planet, right? And this is not because there are no resources. This is mainly because the educational system doesn't offer possibilities, right, for the people who go through those systems actually to become completely independent, to be creative, to become business owners and stuff. So we decided that we should do that, because I wanted for my daughters a different future. I didn't want them to just finish university and start now looking for jobs, but I wanted them to be people who create value to society and people who actually participate in development initiatives. And the third reason was I had an experience in the United States in 2016. I was selected for a program called the Young African Leaders Initiative. And we were 1,000 young African leaders invited to the United States, and we were spread all over the country. We went through training sessions and stuff, but the main thing that actually led me to starting BDLS was the fact that there was a clear difference between fellows from English-speaking African countries and French-speaking African countries. When you talk to people from English-speaking African countries, I mean, many of them actually have access to a lot of opportunities. But our young people in the French-speaking world, unfortunately, they are not less intelligent. They are not less creative, but unfortunately, because of language barriers, because they do not have what it takes to actually grab opportunities out there, they have been deprived from those opportunities. So we decided that we should do something, and we started in 2017 as a business, and we are still a for-profit business. In Arizona, I was trained as a non-profit manager and leader. But unfortunately, in Burkina Faso, where we are operating now, there is no specific possibility to be like a social enterprise. Unfortunately, the law doesn't recognize those kinds of organizations. So either you are a for-profit company or you are an NGO. You can't be anything in between, unfortunately. So we decided that we should be for-profit, and this is definitely good because whatever we do, we make sure we are very effective so that we sustain the whole thing we are trying to build. So basically, that's what I can say about.
Great, great. Yeah, we don't have time to deep dive now into organizational challenges and what basically legal or regulational restrictions and how they are impacting the businesses. But now, as we have the understanding, why you started and what are you doing, I remember that you have a good impact statement, right? So what do you want to achieve? What kind of the change you want to see with your business? Maybe you just briefly introduce us to your impact strategy at the beginning.
Actually, we're trying to impact 10 million kids, young people, young professionals as well. When I say young people, I mainly talk about university students, but young professionals as well. So 10 million in 8 French-speaking West African countries by 2030. That's what we are working for. And then we do this by developing educational programs and contents. We have different projects and programs that we implement, right? Both offline and also online. I say online because we are now developing a platform that will give even more people access to our services. But we design those services to meet the needs of the community because the 8 countries we are targeting, they have approximately the same realities when it comes to the educational system. So after we spend time doing studies and making sure the solutions we are proposing are actually adapted to those specific areas. So basically, that's what we're doing.
Great, great. Thank you, Mathias. So one organization wants to target and change the lives of 10 million people. Briseida, you are currently touring the US, trying to find the potential investors, I would say impact investors for your business. So what is your impact strategy? What are your KPIs? What kind of the change you want to see as a result of your activities?
So, Theodore, I actually touched a bit up on our philosophy as well, because we are impact, like we started ConsciESG trying to find impact and measuring impact, which was very difficult and still is difficult. So in our DNA, we are impact aligned, and the whole model that we have built on ESG, environmental, social, and governance, is exactly a model which measures the progress towards meeting the net zero targets in this case. So we are trying to to shift, because currently, as we speak, there is $30 trillion assets, ESG assets under management, which are supposed to go. And I was thinking a little bit, because this number is huge, like $30 trillion assets under management, which are supposed to go towards impact, and they don't actually go. It's a huge amount, and it actually needs a lot of effort, and it needs a very straightforward and scientific solution to back up investors' decision with data. And what we do is we provide data to these institutions and to these asset managers to give them the confidence so that they can invest with full confidence towards projects or companies which are supposed to produce the bigger impact. ESG at the end of the day is just a framework, and it incorporates many of the SDGs, and basically all the SDGs are incorporated in our ESG framework, depending on which pillar you work on, environmental, social, and governance. But we have to take into consideration that both companies and asset managers are not responsible for everything. That's why we have managed to find this financial correlation and try to orient both companies and asset managers towards the themes and topics which are most material to their industry as well, so that they could tackle the issues, the respective issues, and at the same time ensure that they have a good bottom line to continue their business. And by the way, we currently are not touring for investment, but we are touring to find that product market fit, and talking with the asset managers and pitching to them for this, exactly for our solution, for this impact investing tool and platform that we have created.
Cool. But definitely you are talking about your future clients, how you are going to measure the success. So I suppose each of your organization is measuring the success in terms of the financial return or the profit or any kind of the new value that is created. But we have also a question from Luis, and basically this is also the next question in our discussion. So Luis, thumbs up. I mean, impact measurement is and measuring the impact is really challenging. And what kind of the metrics or tools do you use in order to assess the progress and impact of your initiatives? How do you know that you are creating a positive value and a positive impact, and that you are basically targeting and achieving positive change in the world? Being directly or indirectly with your business activities. And then Lee said, what kind of the barriers or challenges you have in these processes? Especially, with the case of Briseida business, where you have ESG framework, which is basically risk management framework, but also is measuring a lot of KPIs that can be considered as the impact KPIs. So yeah, maybe Mathias, maybe you can start, and then Briseida can follow up about the processes of impact measurement and challenges that you have in this. Is this possible? Is it impossible? Is it costly? Does it make sense? Are there other KPIs like outcome KPIs that are enough to prove and see if you're going into the right direction and if you're making any kind of the change? Mathias.
Thank you so much. I think this is an interesting question because, and thank you, Luis, for raising this up. I think it's definitely important for a business, right, to use some tools from our social enterprises. Because we in Burkina Faso operate as a for-profit business, as I said, but actually in the implementation of our programs, we behave like a social enterprise because we are more focused on impact than making money, right? But it's clear that you cannot make a sustainable impact if you're not making any money. But the thing is, we make sure we invest again all the money we make into the system to make it sustainable. Because as a business, you definitely need to make profit, but as a social enterprise, you need to make an impact. So from the beginning, we we have like specific KPIs that we put into place that will tell us if we are on the right path, if we are doing the right thing, if we are going to the right direction. So now we have targeted, I say we have worked with more than 2,500 participants across the different countries we're targeting. But that one is only for offline programs, right? I said before that we are now designing a platform to give access to even more people. But for the offline programs, we have specific, tools that allow us to like follow up on the impact our content, our programs have on the people who actually our beneficiaries are in. So for us, those tools are very important because they tell us what to do to adjust the services we are giving. And they also tell us how to see the future. And one of the key things that I personally learned from having like specific KPIs is that they give you the sense of being in control of what you're doing, right? Because if you have no specific indicator that tells you that, okay, in this specific area, you need to make a change. In this specific area, you need to like change a little bit something. You are not really in control.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, great. I mean, this is the point that we are quite often discussing. I mean, impact measurement is not about the reporting of visibility and marketing. Impact measurement is about management and the planning. So, Briseida, maybe one additional question to this is if we want to see the long-term impact of your business activities. As also Mathias previously mentioned, of course, our business model should be profitable, but at the same time also scalable and sustainable on the long run. So maybe you can also tell us a little bit, not only how are you approaching to the impact measurement, but also what kind of the steps you have taken in order to scale the business while at the same time preserving your strategy for the creation of the positive impact in the society.
Thank you for your question, Theodore. It is, I mean, well, depending on whichever point of view you see it, our journey it is challenging from the very beginning because and I believe that Mathias as well and everybody else that might be listening to us has, if they ever tried to build a startup or an organization from the very beginning, it is challenging, especially if you are challenging the status quo. And what we did, we're challenging because we're coming from a world, a financial world, where risk was measuring. So society or financial institutions were measuring what the environment and society would do to them, would cause to them. And going from that perspective to the double materiality perspective, to see how the companies and institutions actually affect the environment and society is it's a whole mind shifting and mind changing mentality as well. So it's very powerful. And for this change to come from top institutions, from the institutions which actually manage the money, it is a little bit difficult and challenging. The whole journey from the very beginning to the end, from building your credibility, from proving your point, from testing the formula, from testing the solution, and up to the final results, it's challenging in itself because nobody or people are not so easily going to shift from profit maximization to actually lower their profits and bring impact as well. And as we mentioned previously, these $30 trillion ESG assets under management, they have been misused in the past. And it doesn't take just one person or one startup or one company to actually push towards the real impact measurement and the real then benefit to both society and the environment, and not just to the companies. So, but in our case, from the very beginning, and referring to the second part of your question, what kind of strategies we have used from the very beginning, Theodore, we have been focused on building partnerships one case at a time. So we cooperated with the giants of the industry. We had the courage to go directly to our even direct competitors and show them our methodology in a nutshell and tell them if it made any sense or not. We cooperated with Morningstar, Dow Jones, FactSet, and currently are waiting to cooperate with Moody's, which is a data and infrastructure partnership. And we use their data, both impact data, like ESG data that they had, and the financial data to actually work on our model and prove our solution. So this kind of partnerships help you build confidence internally, because once you have a tested model, of course, that's part of your sustainability. Like, you could go a longer way. So we were not pushing so much on the platform and on the technology from the very beginning, but we're pushing on the methodology to properly building a science-based methodology, which showed results and proved that it had a financial and higher actually financial correlation. The second thing which helped, or we hope that is going to help us in terms of scalability, is the partnership that we have built with both Google and Azure. We are using two specific products from each of them, and are using generative AI to fill in the data gaps of the data that we actually took and saw and analyzed, and we saw that there were so many data gaps. So now we are trying to fill in the data gaps, and we are using generative AI to subtract information from unstructured materials and documents to actually produce them in a scale. And once we properly train the algorithm, so far we have tested it on 500 companies, and we have managed to have an accuracy rate of 80%. So if we are able to increase and work a little bit more on the accuracy level up to 90% and up, and obviously this is huge in terms of scalability, because we would be able to gather subtract data from unstructured documents like the ESG or public sustainability reports in a scale, and be able to produce more quality data afterward, ensuring that, yeah.
Maybe just a quick follow-up question on this is, since you're working with big companies, definitely you're facing a lot of cases, or maybe you see future cases of impact washing and SDG washing. So how in this process, what kind of the strategy you will employ within your business to at least teach if it's not possible to stop these activities?
This actually is a very, very, very good question. And it's good because sometimes both companies and financial institutions alike, they do greenwashing without even knowing that they are doing greenwashing. And even some companies, like, let's take specific cases, once they understand that ESG is not a marketing, like part of the marketing department, and actually ESG is supposed to be part of the entire structure and the way and the strategy of a company, that's huge. And we had a very specific case with one of the biggest asset managers in the region, in the Western Balkans region. They had no idea what ESG really was. They had no idea what sustainability or impact really was, but not because they didn't have enough knowledge, etc. But they were associating it, and they were actually one of the companies producing, like, prone to greenwashing, because they were what they were doing, they were putting unachievable targets or very high targets, which is, and accordingly even to the European Union new stricter regulations, that's a type of greenwashing as well, if you put high targets which are not achievable, because you are misleading the public, and you are misleading your employees, you are misleading everyone. So what we do, and through our platform, what we have managed to do, is we have proposed, like, based on our research and based on available data, etc., we have proposed let's say reachable targets, or targets which make sense, based on a science-based methodology, and we've produced targets which make sense so that we can help companies prevent going through a greenwashing wave wave of accusations. But on the other hand, we should admit as well that there are institutions which do it on purpose, and that's it. And with those institutions or with those certain companies, you cannot actually really work. And this is something that we cannot compromise, because the model itself, it measures progress based on real data. So it's the change component from 1 year to 1 year, and it's what you have actually really done, not what you think of doing. So in that case, we cannot really help these companies or institutions to further integrate sustainable impact measurement in their systems.
Yeah, I really like that both of your organizations are thinking like in a broader sense what basically impact is and how it's impacting the business models of your organization, as well as what kind of the value is delivering, positive or negative or none of this to your clients or beneficiaries. We have one question which is really good follow-up on this discussion. We have a couple of minutes to finish the fireside chat, but if any few of the participants still have the questions, just post it in the QA. So the question is, as the world becomes more complex, what advice do you have for organizations to ensure impact strategies account for volatilities or future changes? It's a good follow-up question. So basically, you know how to develop the impact strategy, you know how to employ it within your business model and operations, you know how to measure the progress and KPIs. But what about the volatilities or changes that are coming externally? Who wants to answer this?
If I can start answering. In our case, we are maybe in the right time, right moment, right time, because the EU and the rest of the world is pushing a lot towards regulations as well. So it's part of the regulatory system. So that is a big help in order to, first of all, trying to define what impact is, trying to define impact measures, progress tools, etc. So regulatory is definitely helping towards that. But what I believe that would really push and create a shield against these externalities is strong partnerships. Like we should be willing and should be pushing to create as many strong partnerships as possible from the very beginning. And we should understand that we are not the only, like, I'm very good at something very specific, ESG progress measurement. But for example, in our case, I'm cooperating with a company which does specifically CO2 measurement. So that's a good way to ensure, like, through this kind of partnership, it's a good way to create waves which are a little bit stronger. Okay, I'm not still at that point where I can say that our partnerships are so big that we can go against the some externalities, but still I think that building strong partnerships with like-minded organizations or added value in our chain, because you cannot provide for everything. I think it's a good way to shield yourself against externalities.
Yeah, and
I totally
definitely.
agree with
Yeah.
that.
Sorry,
I
Mathias.
totally agree with Briseida. Actually, partnerships, but also something we do here at VDLS is making sure we also include our beneficiaries in the overall development of the organization, which means they become champions to actually continue to help us build and implement the vision we have for the targeted country. So it's important from the very beginning to define very clear targets, but also as we move in implementing the different programs, it's important to also give our beneficiaries an opportunity to actually be part of the development of the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree with all of your views. I would maybe add that maybe one of the thing is also that the organizations definitely should be flexible and robust and agile in their business development and business operation. That's why I think impact measurement and management is really important, because nothing is set in the stone. You can always pivot, and you can also produce higher impact if you see what kind of the externalities are influencing your business, and collecting the data and making decisions based on that data maybe can even advance your impact strategy, not to minimize the KPIs, right? Wow, half an hour just passed. So yeah, if there is any question, please post it in QA. I will start now with the closing questions. Maybe one closing question for both of you. So you're operating now for some years. What are the lessons learned from, design ideation, design phase, business development phase? Now you're about entering. I mean, Briseida is already in the scaling phase. Like Matthias, now you're entering this phase. If all the stars will be there, then you'll be on the way. But what kind of the lessons maybe you can share with our participants when we are talking about creation, not only about the business and impact strategies, but how the creation and managing impact driven organizations like yours. And maybe those lessons learned you can connect with your next steps. So what we can expect from your organizations in the future? What are your future plans to further your impact? So maybe Matthias, you can start with this, and then Briseida.
I think one important lesson I learned from managing. We've been doing this for 7 years now. We started in 2017. So the main thing is putting the beneficiaries at the heart of the whole thing, right? Because you are developing these ideas, you are developing these strategies for specific people. So if you put them aside and you feel like you know everything, and you develop the perfect solution for them to just consume, it doesn't work that way. So you definitely need to listen to them. You need to actually make sure you put them in the overall process of developing new projects and implementing those projects. So I think the big mistake most organizations make is that they just use the data they have to actually propose ideas and solutions, not necessarily focusing on the beneficiaries. So one important lesson for me is to always focus on the beneficiaries and make sure what you design actually fits their needs and will definitely make an impact in their lives. So for me, it's in developing ideas, and also if you want to scale your business, it's important for you to definitely design solutions that are used and that are also useful for people. So yeah, beneficiaries first.
Great. Briseida, your case.
In our case, we were targeting a structural market shift. That's what happened. From a very big wave of greenwashing accusations to measuring, or the need to actually measure impact, there was a structural market shift there, and that's what we were specifically targeting, that market shift. But there was no existing startups or no existing other solutions which were actually doing that. So basically, in our case, there was no path. And we, even though tried to find and to research and to find ways how to replicate at least some part of our model, we found out that we just had to walk in order to create the path. There was no specific path to follow. There was no specific way which was supposed to be the best one to get results. So looking back and answering your first question, like, this is one of the advice that I would give to anyone trying to starting any project, that you have to start walking in and create the path, because there is not going to be like specific guidelines on how you can and should build something. And obviously you should always uh, trust your intuition and base it and back it up with a lot of research and a lot of feedback from the very beginning. We were not afraid to incorporate feedback. I was told that the solution was not good enough. I would improve on it and come back 1 or 2 months later with better results. But I always used every single feedback or every single comment to improve on what we were actually doing with, but never ever doubting what we wanted to achieve. But the way that you can shape your solution or your organization, etc., it's going to change. There is so many different ways that you can go to the same end result that you want to get there. And regarding the I think you asked as well, like what we are expecting now to do in the near future, or something that I'm particularly excited about is the fact that we want to bring exposure to the Southern Eastern European market. So we are now working on the generative AI that we mentioned before tools to build to impact, like to assess the impact and showcase the progress of these small and medium enterprises from our region. And we are starting with a small sample, but we are hoping that we'll be able to show results and bring exposure to this part of the market as well, where it should be.
Great. I like plans. Well, both of your organizations. Yeah, I have a couple of more questions, but unfortunately, 40 minutes just passed by. Maybe just at the end, I would ask each of you, can you share one word that is somehow describing uh, your organizational future? What is your feeling? How you can put your feelings and plans and everything that is going on around your business in one word? And if you can share this with us.
One word, that's difficult. That's actually really difficult. Um, for instance, our vision is to become the ESG progress benchmark. And to become a benchmark, it's so benchmark would be the word. Like that's a point of reference for impact tools, impact
Mhm.
assessment in this case. But maybe, yeah, that's what I would
Okay,
choose.
let's finish with the
That-
benchmark. This is something that just came from you. And Matthias, what's
Yeah,
in your
it's
tongue?
difficult to say this in one word, but I think the word inspire will be the one, because we don't pretend to be able to do what we are trying to achieve alone. So we want, all the organizations, like-minded organizations, but also our beneficiaries to participate in implementing this. So we want to inspire them so that they understand where we're going, what we're trying to build, and also decide to actually participate in any way in actually building that future we are all expecting for our country. So
Great.
yeah, that's right.
Inspire, benchmark and inspire. Great for the conclusion of the impact chat. Yeah, thank you, dears, for the participation. Thank to all other participants and those who will watch the recording. We will, of course, develop more interesting discussions with your peers from the Boost Alumni Network in the future, maybe even on the same topic where we can deep dive a little bit and explore what is behind the surface. But I think that was quite useful and interesting discussion, especially because we discussed this for-profit business side, not only what usually we are discussing from the nonprofit angle. So thank you once again for your participation and your time invested in this learning opportunity for our alumni. Yeah, hope to see you also in other occasions, and goodbye
Bye.
to everyone in the next Boost Unplugged session. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.